What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today, I have my first guest on the podcast. I'm super excited. Coach Laura Vinger. She coaches for her own company, Laura L. Coaching, and I met her at the Real Coaches Summit. Was, I don't know, like 4 weeks ago now-ish.
It's already been a month. What?
Yeah, right? That's crazy. Time really flies. So I'm super excited to have her on. She's so knowledgeable. I've learned so much just getting to know her the past couple weeks and at the coaches conference. So really excited to have her on. And yeah, I'll just let her introduce herself and we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, first of all, you are way too kind. And I have learned from you too, so I appreciate that. Let's see. Hi. I'm Coach Laura, otherwise known as just Laura. It just depends on what people want to call me. It doesn't really matter. And I have been coaching. Let's see. I started out as a macro coach, just the macros. Yeah. And that was, oh goodness, when was that? 2015, 2017, something like that, like 8-9 years ago. And then I moved into learning all the things functional health coaching. But before that, I was a personal trainer and I'm a CrossFit level 2 coach and I'm a yoga instructor. I just did some yoga classes yesterday.
Awesome.
And realized I'm not doing that again. And and I've taught spin class, or do they call it spin? Yes, spin classes. I've kind of done all the things, just everything having to do with health and fitness. But for a good decade or so of my life, I was also in public education. And that is a really interesting space to learn how to work with people, right?
Definitely.
Because everybody's like, what did you teach? And I'm like, well, and everybody answers in the same way. I taught English, I taught math, whatever the heck you taught. And I did teach English. However, what I really did was teach people. And you have to learn how to work with people and listen better and all those things and ask good questions. And so I feel very fortunate that I was able to do coaching on the side, even when I was a teacher and administrator. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was your favorite type of fitness to coach? Like you kind of done the gambit of things.
You know what? It's interesting you asked that question. And that's why I was like, yesterday I did this little like 20-minute yoga thing like 4 times at this elementary school because they had a wellness night for kids. And that's when I was like, yeah, I don't need to do that. Because someone asked, like, where do you teach? I don't. I think you know what? I don't really have a favorite. I don't have a favorite. And the reason I think that is, I can say that right now, and I wouldn't have said that before, is because I feel like everything I did when I was doing it, it was my favorite, which is why I wanted to coach it, right? Like I wanted to teach spin class because I loved it. And then I wanted to like learn more about running and help people learn to run better because I loved it. And then I got a CrossFit certification because I loved it. And now, I mean, I feel like I would have to say my favorite right now is, functional health coaching with a basis in nutrition. And it's not because it's just in the moment. It's something I've done the whole time. It just piggybacked on everything else. And it really feels like this is kind of the all-encompassing, this is how people actually get healthy. This is how I can help people get healthy, feel better every day, right? So
Definitely. And actually, Laura was looking at my husband's labs the other day because he's been suffering with some health issues, and I've talked about it, not on the podcast, but just in general. So most of the people in my life following me, they know that. And she gave us some awesome insight on what is going on, and I really appreciate it because hoping that he can get some relief.
It's a scary thing. It is. So when you have someone in your life who's going through something like any kind of illness and you go to the doctor and they say, we don't see anything, we don't know, there's nothing. And you're like, are you kidding me? My mom went through a similar health scare like 2 years ago. And literally the doctor on the floor, so she was in the ER first, and then they moved her to a room. And he said to me, I said, well, you need to find the root cause of this. He said, no, I don't. And I said, what? And he said, my job is to get her like labs, right? Because they were drawing blood all the time, looking good enough to send her home. And then she follows up. Yes. And then she follows up with her general care practitioner. And I was like, what are we talking about right now? So anytime I can help someone to even get a glimpse into what could be going on and take that fear away and that not knowing, because that's just the worst.
It really is. Yeah, so I guess I didn't publicly talk about my husband going to the hospital, but I might as well because our family already knows. And so what happened is yesterday my husband was having chest pain, and his dad has had multiple heart attacks, and so we're really concerned, but he's 27. So I'm like, I don't think it could be a heart attack. He wasn't doing anything super strenuous, and mentally he wasn't thinking about stressful things, which tend to cause those problems usually for people. So I was like,
and he's 27.
yeah. We're young. So I was like, I really don't think it could be, but the way his dad described it and what he felt, they seemed like very similar. Mm-hmm. So we were driving to the hospital or emergency room, and while we were in the car, he thought he was going to die. So we called 911, and they came. The EKG was normal. They took him in the ambulance to the hospital because he just wanted to make sure if something like what happened in the car happened again.
Well, you have to take precautions like that. My goodness.
Yeah. So then we got there, and they did the blood work, and they did the EKG, and they're like, nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. You should go home. And my husband's scared because he's like, I felt like I had a heart attack. Can you at least run like a CT scan or something?
It's like, so, I'm pretty sure the way I felt doesn't mean nothing's wrong, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I was scared shitless. Like I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I thought he was gonna die. I didn't know what was going on. And so I'm like, maybe they should like look at internally what's going on, like do an x-ray or something. So they did an x-ray and a CT scan, and they said everything was fine. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even let us look at the blood work or anything. They just told us your ranges are normal. Mm-hmm. And on your podcast, we talked about what is quote unquote, what should be normal, and what is quote unquote common is what's defined as normal. So, I mean, most people who've listened to me probably know what is normal, quote unquote, is not where you should be because most people are sick. And so the normal range is being in range means you're sick, probably.
Right. Yeah. Well, and those Western medical ranges, number one, they're very wide, right? They're just this giant, from here to there. And generally, those ranges come from, they take all of the information they've gotten. So let's just say, let's go white blood cells, just for fun, right? Oh, no, I love using TSH. Let's talk about TSH. Love thyroid. Thyroid's the best. So if you look at your TSH, the range for TSH is huge. It's like 4 points, right? Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at other ranges, it's a big thing. And what most people, like if you just go and you're feeling fine, they don't generally test your TSH. Like they're not going to always do that. If you have had issues or if you're feeling a certain way, fatigued, tired, all of those things, they're going to request that lab. And most doctors only request labs in certain labs if you feel a certain way, because that's how insurance pays for it, right? They have to be able to code it right. Well, if you think about that, then most of the lab ranges that we have are from people who came in not feeling well. And this could be part of the problem, which means they're tipping into that illness already. So we look at those lab ranges as like, yeah, like you said, these are unhealthy people, and we're looking at the lab ranges going, well, if you're in here, you're healthy. But also the other part of it is, as long as you're in the range, they say you're healthy, you're normal. Like for your husband, he's normal, you're in the range. But if the TSH range is like anywhere from 0.5 to 4.0, and I go into like today and I'm at a 3.99, they're going to go, hey, Laura, you're fine. And I'll be like, okay, I'm fine. That's great. And then tomorrow I go back in and I'm a 4.1 for whatever reason, because I'm stressed out or something crazy happened. Now they're going to go, hey, Laura, we need to give you medication. It can happen that fast. So you're right on the money when you're talking to people. You know, we have to be good consumers. We can't just trust blindly. And that's what you guys did. You were like, and it was pretty much in your face. Like, he didn't feel well.
Yeah.
And they were saying everything's fine. So,
And my husband does not complain. He is like, he never complains about like anything. So if he's like, you need to, like yesterday at 10 a.m., he was like, you need to take me to the emergency room right now. And I was like, okay, let's go. Yeah, I'm scared shitless because I think he's, having a heart attack or whatever. And I'm trying to drive, and of course everybody's going the same way, so we're stuck in traffic, and then we have to pull over and call the 911 and all the things. So anyway.
And you know what's funny about that is I guarantee you every woman who is listening to this is going, yes, my husband would have to be almost dead to look at me and say, take me to the doctor. Yeah. Which is stressful for us as women, as wives, as partners, wherever you are in those relationships, because like, I guarantee you could see him tipping into illness and stuff before he even felt bad, right? Months ago when things started, stressors started to happen, and you can't be a nag. Don't be a nag.
I'm very naggy. I'm very naggy.
I choose to not use that word. I'm like, I just care about you.
Yes, that's what I say, because it's true.
I just want you to take care of yourself. And if there's something I can do to help, that's what I want to do. I think that's the hardest part. Do you feel like that's the hardest part about being a coach, is that the people who are close to you, what do they call it? Proximity paralysis. The people who are closest to you don't want to work with you.
Well, actually, I coach my in-laws and my father.
Wow, you must be nicer to them than I am to mine.
Well, so I have like multiple tiered options. So like my dad and my mother-in-law, I'm just writing workouts for them. But my father-in-law, after his heart issue, he's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. I'll pay you whatever. Like, I need to get healthy.
Isn't that interesting? We were just talking about that on one of our mentorship calls. It's like, what is the impetus for people to decide that they need coaching? And some people, like you, I have lower tier options for people to kind of ease into coaching or ease out of coaching, that kind of a thing. And, some people are like that. They're like, well, nah, I just don't really know what to do in the gym. So just give me something. And then they like realize that you're fantastic and they want to talk to you more, and you probably know more than they thought you did, and they ease into it. But some people got to be like on death's door. Like something bad really has to happen, or they have to be told some really bad news.
I think it's partly because it's like, it's really hard to change. Like, your body doesn't want to change. You don't want to change your lifestyle. You don't want to change your habits. When you sign up for coaching, it's like, obviously what you're doing now is causing you to be in this position. So you're going to have to change things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the hardest thing for people. So like I was chatting with a buddy today, and he's a business owner, and in the past year, he went from just starting his business to scaling and hiring people. He's really awesome at what he does. He's a business consultant, and he's overweight, and he has health problems, but he wants to wait to work with me to where he has more time. But he actually has a plan on how to do that. But I think like part of it's like people prioritize the other things that are easier for them to do, and then kind of let it get to the wayside until it's like too late.
I love that you say that, because it's so I think it's true. I would agree with you. And I think about people in other businesses, other jobs, other careers, right? I was an English teacher. I said that. And you know what's funny is I would always, like, if I had 150 or 225 papers to correct, which would have been dumb, and I'm sure I did that at various points. I know I did. Like, everybody have your papers turned in on the same day. Ridiculous. But um I would definitely not do the ones that were going to be really bad first. Because it's like, oh no, I just want to I want to ease into it. I want to do some that are like, oh, I love reading this. It's so fun. And wow, they did such a great job. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, I'm just going to do kind of easy stuff over here first. And then maybe I'll come over to that side when I absolutely have to, right?
Yep. Yep. And I mean, I do that with a lot of things too. I don't know. Like even house chores. It's like, what is the lowest hanging fruit? Like I actually like to do laundry. So folding is like very therapeutic for me. So
Wow.
so I'll do that first, like ahead of everything else, like vacuum. I also like to vacuum.
I
I
can go
don't know
there with
why.
you. I can feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'll do those first, and then I'll wait till the last minute to clean the floors or the counters or any outdoor sort of chores. Like I hate getting dirty, like with mud and dirt and stuff. So,
But once you get into it, is it okay? Is it just the entry into?
yeah, so you have to like mentally prepare yourself, for
Mm,
like you're gonna be dirty. Wear the clothes that you don't care about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you just got to go. And I think that's what people, I mean, I think we can equate that to coaching too, right? Is you have to mentally prepare yourself. You have to get to the space where you understand why, or you kind of understand why you want to do it or need to do it. And you have to have the will to do it. And then, as coaches, we can help, right? We can help you ease into it, because I don't know about you, but I don't throw everything at a person right away. That's ridiculous, right? No one's
Yep.
going to be successful that way. But um and I think too, there's that level of trust. They have to trust. Not saying that your father-in-law didn't trust you, right? But I mean, it's when you're looking at someone and you're asking them, how can I be healthier? And the things that you're changing are so personal. You, even if you've known that person forever, you kind of have to get over, like, are they going to be disappointed in me? Am I going to feel guilty? Like all those not weird, all those things that people go through, all those emotions, even though I know for me, and I guarantee you do not judge people. You don't be disappointed in people, because we're all just, out here failing every day, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, but when you're sitting there, and we were talking about this before, like at the Real Coaches Summit, right? Like we're in a room with 200 other coaches, and all I can think of is all the things I don't think I know,
Yep.
right? Like, how bad do I suck? How bad what do I absolutely need to know that I don't? And you always think it's inevitable. I'm going to get into a conversation with someone and look like an idiot, right? And
Yep.
that's part of it too. People don't want to come into coaching and not and feel like they don't know anything, right? And to be able to manage and help them understand that it's okay. It's okay if you don't know. That's fine. Most people don't.
Yep.
And it's not because they don't try. I mean, look at all the information on the internet. Good Lord, right?
Yep.
Good, bad, or indifferent. It's all out there. And most of it
Mhm.
is not truthful. But it's not a lack of information. It's a lack of being able to understand it and apply it in a specific situation, because everybody's situation is different.
Yes.
So
So
that's
how do
difficult.
you like take clients through the first part of your coaching process? How do you ease them in to your coaching process if they're really overwhelmed or it's really new to them?
Wow, that's a great question. It's like I said, it's different for everybody depending on where they're at and what they need. My intake process is pretty intense. I don't. Intense is a really bad
Thorough?
word. thorough. Oh, I like that. I'm going to use that. I always come up with intense and I don't know why. It's very thorough. Let's say that. I love it. Thank you, Emma. Like my intake form is like 6 pages long and there's a lot of questions. But there's check boxes too. They're not all like, give me your life story. But there's a lot of stuff as coaches we need to know ahead of time, right? And I always tell people, I'm always the person who's going to say, take your time, don't rush. This doesn't have to be done today. It's okay. Everybody's busy. I want the truth and I want as much detail as possible. And then everybody has to do a 3 to 5 day food log. So I help them figure out what's the easiest way to do that. You know, most people don't like apps, or some people don't like to do it on an app, which is fine. Like, we can figure this out. And I really just meet them where they are. And then we get together and we talk about what I've seen, and what, you know, how we can work together. I ask a lot of questions. And then we put a plan together that works for them. And generally, it's like this. Like the first 2 weeks, we have like 1 or 2 goals. And that's it. And they are the smallest goals to get us jump started, because what I want them to do, we always have to have something that we're looking at working towards, right? There has to be something. But at that time, I also want them to start to understand the process. Like, you're going to see a habit tracker come up in your app. This is what that's for. This is how you answer those things, right? I'm going to be giving you information and education through the app. So I want you to read it or listen to it and do the thing and ask me questions, and helping them learn how to communicate with me. So I do a lot of communication through the app with messages, and because I find that, I don't know, do you find that a lot of clients are like, I just don't want to bug you?
Yes. So I started implementing like a Friday check-in before the weekend where I just message all of them because they won't ask me questions. And I'm like, why? I'm here. I tell you, like, message me 24/7 access, and people don't take me up on it, but they have questions and they wait for the call or whatever. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you say that, and that's fantastic. It took me I just started reaching out more ever since RCS, honestly. I was like, because I always say that, like, I'm here, reach out, let me know. And it dawned on me at one point, I don't know when, during RCS, that I too will not reach out. I have a coach. I generally will not reach out. I will wait, or I will try to figure it out on my own. And I'm like, I'm over here doing the thing that I'm telling them not to do. What is wrong with me? See, we're all still learning.
Yep.
No one's perfect. So yeah, in the first 2 weeks, I give them, like, let's take, for example, a lot of people don't eat enough protein. I've seen your Instagram posts. Nice. And that's like our first goal, is like, let's just increase your protein however it works for them. We put a plan together. And that's like the first 2 weeks, because in that first 2 weeks, they need something to focus on, and we need something to communicate about, and we need something that we can walk through. And I have everything comes through my app. My terms of service is in the app. They have their weekly check-in in the app. So it's just a great time for us to just kind of get comfortable with each other too. And honestly, and I'm not saying that we only do that for 2 weeks. I take small steps with all my clients.
Same here.
Yeah.
I've noticed that's when I first started coaching, I would have clients tell me, yeah, I can train like Monday through Friday, like every day. And I'm like, sweet. Cause like I'm jazzed because they're excited about this. But then after a month or two, they give up because they're not able to reach those goals because they go from 0 to like 5 days a week. That's so unrealistic for most people. And if you have kids or other things, like, you're not going to prioritize the thing that's new and difficult to do. And so start very small. And once I like started, like, now if someone says 5 days a week, I say, how about 2? How about we start with like 2 days, you know?
There you go. Yeah.
And then taking smaller steps, and it makes a huge difference because then they build that confidence, like, I can show up for myself and do the things. And they get little small wins, and then they feel more confident to take bigger steps in the future.
I love how you said that. They realize that they can show up for themselves. And I think that is I have to write that down. I think that is the biggest or hardest or most difficult thing for people to do ever.
Yes.
And to jump into coaching is a big, like, hand up. I want to, like, I want to do this for myself. Like, I want to show up for myself. And then all of a sudden they get like 2, 3, 4 weeks in and they're like, oh crap, this is hard. It's hard to show up for yourself because all of a sudden life starts happening and then you start putting yourself on the back burner again. Right? Interesting. I love how you said that. That's a great way to think about it. Like, let's talk about what it means to show up for yourself. And then, right, and in order for them to continue to show up for themselves, we have to just give them little things to do to show up for themselves.
Yep. Yeah, it's because like really, so I've been digging a lot into like the mindset behind things and that sort of stuff because that really, most people know they should be eating more fruits and vegetables. Most people know they should be eating more protein. It's everywhere now. Even the processed foods got like protein plus and,
Yeah.
like all that crap. So it's like people know they should move more and get more sleep or whatever. But that's not the problem. Like the problem is the mindset behind it. It's like, what is so difficult? Why aren't you doing the things that you know you need to do? And part of it is, change is hard. Like we don't want to change. We don't want to do different things. But part of it too, it's like, especially like with women, I've noticed tend to put other people's needs and other stuff ahead of our own needs.
We are the caretakers of the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's that's what frustrates me because growing up I saw my mom do it. I've seen other family members do it, whatever, and like now their health is really poor. Mm-hmm. So thankfully I learned that when I was younger. I mean, it's still difficult to like the other week I had this like get together with friends and I was having severe like acid reflux. Like I felt really terrible.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to go because I said I'd go and I'd feel bad if, I didn't show up for them or whatever. And I was like, you know what? This is stupid. I feel like really crappy. Like I just want to go home and nap. And I did that. And I was like, you know what? I'm really glad that I did this. And real friends won't care if you do that. But most people think that they will. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
you bring up a good, but what's interesting about what you're saying is the conversations that we have with ourselves in our brain. Like you had an entire conversation in your head between you and how many ever, say there were 5 other friends that you were going to be hanging out with. You did an entire conversation, even from their perspective, in your own brain. And had you not turned it around on yourself and went, I am just going to take care of myself, you would have gone. And they would have been like, girl, if you don't feel good, you shouldn't be here. So I think we do that to ourselves, right? We do that to ourselves. We get so caught up in having both sides of the conversation in our own heads, which is our own perception of how other people are going to think and what they're going to feel and what they're going to say, instead of, because I bet you, if instead of having that conversation in your head, you would have just said to your friends, gosh, man, I'm just not feeling great, but I really feel like I want to be around you. And I made a promise to you that I would be there. Every one of those friends would have went, stay home. Yep. And you wouldn't have had to beat yourself up for 10, 20 minutes, however long it was, right?
Yep.
And I think that's what is interesting about being a coach too, is that we need to step in and go, stop the conversation with yourself, have the conversation with me so we can work through what's going on. Right? And then that translates into other parts of their life, which is like the most amazing thing to see.
Yes. What is your favorite like client transformation, like, but in other aspects? Like what is your favorite client story?
Oh, like not about like nutrition or body composition.
Yes.
Okay, so it has to be a recent one because my brain just cannot go back very far. And I have to say, that's honestly the best part about being a coach for me, is to really dig in and do those things. But it's hard. And it's hard.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have a client who I've only been working with her, I think, since October, November. So it hasn't been too long, maybe 6 months or so. came to me wanting to, lose weight and feel better, all those things. And she doesn't really have a lot of weight to lose. So her perspective is lose weight, but it's really about toning up, right? And being able to see muscle and those kinds of things, which is pretty typical. We just need different language around it. And quickly, we realized that her level of stress, she's if we want to get labely, let's call her a type A person. I don't like doing that, but she's just gotten herself into a position where she was doing all the things all the time and getting, swear to God, 18,000 steps a day as an educator, which is, I can understand that. I used to do it. Yeah, easy.
That's a lot.
And then feeling like she needed to go train, and she feeling like she needed to go do this and do all these things. And it's like, well, your body's really not going to respond well if that's going on. And she was having some symptoms of gut health issues. And we did get a GI map because she wanted one about a month in. And she had all the symptoms. I thought, for sure, we're going to come back with a little SIBO, but we're not going to go into a protocol. I haven't seen that good of a GI map ever.
It was just stress.
It was stress. And she had the bloat, and she had constipation. And then, of course, once you have constipation for long enough, you get the diarrhea. I mean, it was a whole thing. And I was like, oh, girl. So we started working on the actions. And I always tell my clients this. I'm like, so there's two parts to this. We have to put the actions in place, like start to make that little habit change thing. That's the action part. But then we're also going to look at why, like you talked about, look at why we're doing the actions we're doing. Like, why did we do this before, but we're doing this now? And why are those things happening? And in that process, what we do is we build a relationship with ourselves again. We learn to love ourselves again and connect back with ourselves. So we're going to build that relationship. And most people need to build a better relationship with food. So we do 2 relationship things, and we do some little actions because those things go really well together. And I know, like, her perspective was that she was going to come be with me, before we started to lose some weight, feel better, bang, she was going to hit the door. That's fine. That's great. And that happens. Some people do that. And so and she was under eating. So we dropped her steps. We created strategies to get those steps down. We increased her food. She felt better, had more energy, all those things. And I think maybe we've been 6 or 7 months. And so we did that for about 6 months. And she wanted to go into a little mini cut to see how that would feel. So we started her mini cut like 3 weeks ago. And it's interesting. At the same time, I did a podcast about the Lighthouse framework, which is aligning your values to your priorities.
I listened to that. That was awesome.
And she, honest to goodness, I didn't think it was that awesome. I was like, well, this is just something I want to talk about. She started implementing that right away. Like, in her next check-in, she was like, this is what I did this week. This is what I focused on. I listened to the Lighthouse. I did this thing. And now, as we talk in the last couple of weeks during her check-ins, she is more focused on making herself a priority and what her life looks like and how she thinks about herself and, and what her values are and where her priorities lie and all of those things, as opposed to, I want to lose 10 pounds and look a certain way. And now she's thinking more long-term, and she's like, so we're going to do this little mini cut. And she said, I know I'm not going to look how I really want to look after this mini cut. She said, but I'm also super excited because then we're going to go into maintenance phase again. Like, she's all in on how we're going to build muscle, because everybody thinks you get into a maintenance phase and then you do a cut and there's your muscles. Like, no. Like, you have to do that multiple times. Like, you have to actually go in and work really hard, to build muscle, you D1 athlete, So to see that change in her, the focus kind of goes away from how do I look to how do I feel and how do I perceive myself and what is my relationship with myself and what is my relationship to the outside world and where's my value, where's my worth coming from? Because a lot of women, we base our worth in how we look and how other people see us. And I
Yes.
said this, I don't remember when a couple of months ago, maybe to somebody, and I said, the unfortunate piece for women is if that is where we find our worth, there will come a day where you will feel worth less because age happens to all of us if we're lucky. And you start to get the wrinkles. I'm touching my face. You start to get the wrinkles and you start to like things go south literally and you can't stop it. Unless you're like one of those, celebrities who's 85 and looks like they're 30 because they've had so much face work. And most of us are not that, right? But also though, the concept of that makes me sad. It makes me sad because then we spend 30 years of our life or 40 years of our life only focused on how we look and how other people see us and the clothes that we wear. And we lose ourselves. We lose our soul. We lose our true worth. And I think honestly that is part of the reason that I do this coaching work is because I did that. I was anorexic and bulimic from the age of 16 until I was old enough to know better. I don't think there's till I was like 39,
Wow.
38. And everything, honest to goodness, like all my value, which I didn't realize at the time, was wrapped up in what size am I? What clothes am I wearing? How do I look in the mirror? How do other people see me? All of those things. And am I eating the right food to look this way or not enough food? Or I'm eating too much food? Or it just took a ton of energy and it wasn't authentically me. And I think now I'm on my soapbox. I think women have this issue where we lose ourselves and we are not authentically who we are. And we lose days and years of a beautiful life that we could be leading because that's what we're focusing on. So
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the question was. Sorry, I got very emotional right there. But
Okay. That was
yeah.
I needed to hear that because sometimes I still get into those like mental states. That was part of my like exercise addiction was I started to look very lean and I was very small. I could fit into small sized clothes or whatever. You could see my abs and I was like, ooh.
And you
We
probably got a lot of attention for that. Did you get positive attention for that?
honestly no, because it was during COVID, so I like
Oh,
didn't see anyone.
what a
Yeah,
waste.
I
COVID's such a waste. God dang.
So yeah, not really, but I was like, wow, I actually look like, whatever social media thing or whatever. So I was like,
Mhm.
ooh. And then when I started to change, because I talked about on your podcast, I've talked about on this one, like I lost my menstrual cycle, and I was like, whoa, this isn't healthy. So I overdid it the other way, but then I was like, I overdid it. So I was like my body fat percentage was too high, and then I felt really terrible about myself because of how I looked and other stuff. And I feel like it's very common for women. Like guys don't seem to go through that same thing. Not that they don't, but like my husband's health has not been great and he's put on body fat and he doesn't even care. I mean, he cares like cuz he was overweight for a long time and got lean and healthy and anyway, but like it's not the same thing. Like whereas like I still look at myself and beat myself up in the mirror, like, and I'm
Mhm.
like, wait, why? Like I'm like healthy and all these things. So it's really common. So that's really awesome. You were able to help your client with that, like see beyond like the mirror and the
Mhm.
scale, and like look towards her life and what she values and
Mhm.
um,
And
yeah,
ultimately, I would guarantee that is your goal with your clients that you have is to get them to that spot where that have and I'm going to tell you in 6 months I'm pretty sure it was I mean this woman was already on her way to that point like she's very intelligent and very connected that kind of thing. So it wasn't like ooh Laura's magic because I'm not. But I think isn't that where we want to go with all of our clients? It's just a
yes.
different journey, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like one of my clients, again, same thing, weight loss, not more aesthetic looking, but just like he wants to lose weight so he can, be lighter on his feet and do more sports and that sort of thing. And he's like, he didn't realize, but like all the other aspects of his life started to improve when he started to like work on himself and prioritize himself, started meditation, gratitudes practice, and he did go on hormone replacement, but his hormone, like he had like no testosterone, so he did really need it. But that with all the other things that we worked on, and we did all the basic stuff before looking at labs. Because I think sometimes in my area specifically, they sell hormone replacement like candy. So unfortunately, a lot of people get on it too early, but anyway, so we did the basic stuff and he did that and he's like, my mood's improved. My wife like says I'm much more enjoyable to be around and he's a more present father, and it's like, that's what we want to help you with. Like, honestly, I don't really care if you lose weight as long as the quality of your life improves. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah. And it's that same thing that we talk about. It's like people don't know how bad they feel until they start feeling better. And then everything improves. That's exactly what you're saying. Absolutely. And HRT is not the magic pill or injection or whatever you happen to be doing. Because if you're not doing other things, it's not going to matter.
Yes. And that's what I see oftentimes here. And I'm like, okay, you're like 60 plus pounds overweight and you don't exercise or eat well, and you're going to go on hormones. That's not going to do anything.
Part of that too is, if there is any kind of gut dysbiosis going on and you go on to HRT, your body's not going to absorb it anyway. And you're actually going to compound the gut problem anyway. So it's always the not sexy stuff, right?
Yep.
Just the basics, people.
Like your podcast.
Oh gosh, I didn't even realize that. Oh, you're so funny. I love it. Thank you.
You're
nice. Welcome. Way to bring that back around. Very good.
So on that note, I've kept you here for long enough. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
I think we could talk for like hours.
Probably.
People would probably get bored. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, I have so many more questions to ask you, but
that's all right.
So where can people find you?
Well, I try to be on every social platform. I'm just kidding. I don't. I'm really bad at TikTok. Although I'm on TikTok.
Really? I'm not. I couldn't do it.
It's occasional, and I'm not doing the dances either. So if you're looking for TikTok dancing, don't come to me. But basically, I'm Coach Laura L on Instagram, Laura L Coaching on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Threads. Like I said, I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. Very rarely. X doesn't work well for me because it's only a certain number of characters. I'm not going to pay for it. So a certain number of characters, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I talk a lot. So I need more characters than that.
I feel that.
I have a website, lauralcoaching.com, and I'm on YouTube, Coach Laura L. Yeah, all my stuff is on YouTube.
Oh, do you put your podcasts on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. And the podcast, Basics and Beyond the Podcast. So I try to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I hide in my house. No, I'm just kidding. It's been super fun. I love this. This was fantastic. I'm super excited that I'm your inaugural guest on your podcast. This was fantastic.
And I will have to have you back on for sure.
Please do.
Well, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.